Today, let's figure out if Bitcoin, Ethereum and Solana have bottomed in this retracement or not. Unlike many other besserwissers on the internet, I don't know the future of markets. I'm just a simple observer, but I'm happy to share my thoughts with you. Long-time viewers might recall this from 2022. I was bearish almost the entire 2022, and most of you remember this video from 2022. Get off the train now! Well, trends in crypto are powerful, like a charging train. But the disaster is never far away. One sidestep, and boom! Now let me explain crypto investing. The objective is to sit next to the train track, not on the train track. That means when the trend is down, don't sit on the track, because the train is gonna come. And when the train has already passed, don't try to run after it, it's already long gone. You need to get in at the beginning of the trend. So let's see, April 22, 2022. That was here. There was still a long way to go. That was one of the most important videos I've published on this channel. That helped many of you get off the train before, boom, disaster struck. Because many people missed the Larsson blue flip at about 49k back in December 2021. And while I'm sure it felt late here at 41, 42k something, it sure didn't feel like that later. Then the challenge is to be able to change your mind in an instant when the situation changes. It's very difficult. Most people can't do it. They will stick to their opinion from yesterday, even if new facts have come to light.
New shit has come to light. And shit, man.
There is a point with this historical recap, so bear with me here. Here and here, there was reason to be bullish, but then most people remained bullish all the way down, even though the situation had already changed so clearly back here. And then at the bottom, they finally get it, and then they flip bearish, when it's actually the time to flip bullish again. This is difficult mental gymnastics for me too, and that's why I came up with this Larsson line in the first place, so that there is something with a phenomenal track record of being right, staring me in the face, saying I might have the wrong opinion now. And unless I've gotten freaking colorblind to blue and yellow, which I don't think is possible, I can't easily explain it away. That's why I wanted it binary. It's not a little bit blue. No, it's blue. Criticism is then usually that, it's so simplistic. Okay, but did you do it? Did you sell here in December 2021 at 49k something? And did you buy back here at 17k or 21k? Because Larsson stayed blue throughout 2022, not only for BTC, but for Ethereum as well, and Solana to USD backed up a whopping minus 94% during 2022 alone, with Larsson blue throughout, saving people that drop that took every $100 down to 5. Back to Bitcoin. But then towards the end of 2022, I felt I needed to challenge myself to really be on the ball when the trend turns around. Track all the inputs so that I can come out the door with high confidence when the trend eventually turns. I was pretty certain it would at one point, because I felt certain that the technology with blockchain, with global money on the internet, with smart contract, isn't a fad. I felt that this is gonna come back, just not sure when. Then you might recall that I started doing these KPI scorecards. 2022 October 25th, that was here, it was pretty far down, but it wasn't the bottom yet. I looked for a chart bottom formation, I checked the trend, meaning Larsson line, I checked if support was holding, if we had reached the about 80-85% retracement target from previous cycles, if we had reached the TA pattern target, I tracked the GBTC discount, the dollar strength index, and I came to the conclusion that this still looks very blue. There were still a lot of moon boys here. Turned turned out they were wrong, the KPIs were right, we still went quite a bit further down. Then I did an update on December 13th. That was here, and even though the trend hadn't turned up yet, the KPI scorecard starts looking quite different if you compare with this. Suddenly it was almost positive. It was that scorecard that helped me identify this famous 17,433. And then only a few days later, 2023 January 16th, the sum was suddenly +4. January 16 was here at 21,000. The only main indicator that was still neutral was the trend direction. And what happened the day after? On the 17th of January, Larsson line flipped gold, and we had this to a whopping +5 with almost everything gold. And that was at $20,000. My confidence here was super high. And if you recall the sentiment then, it was not the general conclusion, because the people who had been bullish all the way down here, they had gotten depressed and they said that this is just a scam pump and we're gonna go much lower. While actually, new shit had come to light. Now, let's do a similar exercise today to try to figure out, is this the top of this entire move, or is it just a bull market correction? Frankly, the retracement isn't that big. This is like 19% only, even though it feels so dramatic. I made several videos a couple of months ago with the stats for the previous corrections during bull markets. And bottom line is that 20% is normal, it's not even that big. So this retracement here isn't really indicative of anything. Instead, I'm looking at the chart construction, and right now, the only question that matters is if the support is holding or breaking down. Because this support here at 60,800 that I've talked about for so long, that has turned out so useful, that held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, faked one time, then held 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now for the 13th time. Is 13 the bad luck number, or is it going to bounce? Well, we got a really big reaction here yesterday. This week is huge, and today, as I'm recording this, price is back over support. So if price is closing here, support has not broken down. But of course, this was scary here yesterday, but support is still holding as of right now. The next key point is the trend. Larsson line is gray here. Next, market reaction to news. I didn't really like how the market reacted to this Mt. Gox news. Germany will sell some Bitcoin and so on. It mega dumped. At the same time, it doesn't mean that much when market reacts negatively to negative news. It's more the opposite that sometimes can be a huge clue. If the market doesn't react to a huge negative news or doesn't pump on a positive news. Next is the macro outlook, and I think that looks good. I don't think that yields will break out through this resistance. I think they eventually will start coming down. The US dollar index is right at resistance. Perhaps we get a rejection here. There's a lot of factors speaking for increasing liquidity, and we have election year coming up in many countries where the money printer has to start up. Valfläsk, we call that in Swedish. Next, what is new now is that we actually have some transparency on the BTC flows. And ETF flows are not looking that great lately. They're mostly negative. We have this transparency on governments. I think some of these are mostly speculation, but some are pretty accurate, like United States, UK, Germany. The news the other day was that Germany has 46k left after selling only 4,000. And these are significant amounts. This is a lot of money. Again, this can quickly change. I'm just talking about the status 2024, June 25th. Tomorrow this might look completely different. That's the whole point. Next, historical cycle behavior. You who have good memory will remember that I made two models. One tracking the parabola behavior of Bitcoin, which gave a parabola 5 target of 70,000, and another one which tracked the halving behavior, where the key conclusion was that the post-halving pump was typically the same length as the pre-halving pump, and also larger in terms of magnitude. These two models for me boxed in the likely outcome to be between 70,000 with a top already mid-2024 and 300,000 with a top in September 2025. But Larsson, that's so obvious, 70,000 has already happened. No, I published this video on February 21st. February 21st was here at 51,000. So it really helped me be more certain that we're gonna get another leg up, which we did, and which just about crossed 70,000. And we did that again here in June. So if we're looking at this point in isolation, because the whole point with KPIs is that you separate them, you don't use one to kind of mark the score of the other one. You try to keep them independent, and then you sum up. So in isolation, as of right now, we can't tell which of these two scenarios we are in. Can we? But if we start moving up, if this chart starts looking like this, it's suddenly pretty clear that the top was not the 70,000 scenario in mid-2024, based on the parabola behavior from the history of Bitcoin, but rather the halving model playing out, relying on the fact that the pre-halving pump and the post-halving pump were the same length in each of the three previous cases in the history of Bitcoin. So perhaps it will be the same also the fourth time, but we don't know that yet. Hence, the KPI is gray. If we now sum this up, we get to plus minus 0. 2 positive, 2 negative, and 2 neutral. The way you can look at this scoreboard is a measure of confidence as input to a position size decision. Then as clarity builds, if it's in the positive direction, you can increase position size. That is if you don't want a binary yes-no decision, but more of a sliding scale. And I'm certain that this will clear up in either direction, and probably soon. And of course, I'll share my continued observations in the Discord, in the TA reports every single Friday without fail, and sometimes here on YouTube like now. No, Larsson, don't do that! Give me some clarity! Okay, if I have to make a decision, I default to the top here. Is support holding? Let's look again, maybe it changed while I was recording, because it's really on the knife's edge here and this candle hasn't closed yet. This candle is still open, but as of right now, still holding. Yes, trend is neutral, but if you know your process, you know that it's not only gray that matters, but also what the previous state was. So then you have a clear conclusion at this point of time. But that could literally change tomorrow if this support breaks or Larsson line flips blue. Before we continue with Ethereum and Solana, the time with my Swedish company is now really coming to an end. I did have a little bit of margin, so I've updated the counter, but this is it. This is the final countdown. Tomorrow, I'm closing shop, which could be today when you're watching this. And it's on ctolarsson.com, everything else is a scam. If you don't know what I'm talking about or thinking this closing shop is a joke, watch the intro to these two videos. It's not a gimmick, it's not a joke. I literally can't take anyone's money after this, at least until I'm up and running in my new location sometime in the autumn. Ethereum and Solana are much clearer because we can just filter out the USD noise. And the ETH to BTC chart is a simple range. A range breakout is actionable, even though this one has faked out 3 times. And because of that, for an upside breakout, I want to see this level break also, and not only the main range resistance, again for higher confidence. But the thing is that it isn't so far. This looks big on the chart, but this is only 5%. Even up here it's only like 9%. So there is no need to speculate about what's going to happen. Let's react when it actually does. And it could absolutely happen. The Ethereum ETF is coming. And while I fully expect disappointment on the first day of trading, inflows could start rolling in after that. similarly to what happened with Bitcoin, where we had this huge dump after trading started, but then inflows actually came. Solana, I don't know how many times I've said this over the past months, but now I'll say it again. Forget about the Solana to USD chart at this point of the market. Look at the SOL to BTC chart instead to understand what is actually going on. And it's so clear. In terms of chart, it's this level, 0.002. That's the support level that needs to hold. And now there's been another 4 perfect entries there. The last one being yesterday. This looks small on the chart, but this is actually up 13% since support only from yesterday. The trend is down, which increases the risk. But that can happen during sideways ranging price action. Again, if you're thinking in a scorecard manner. But if this level breaks, if price breaks below 0.002 with a trend, okay, then this is enormously risky to the point of being a short opportunity. But it hasn't happened yet. It has not broken down. I was quite impressed with the announcement yesterday of the new state compression functionality, that they keep working on lowering cost. Of course, this is a bit of a marketing statement and we don't have it yet, but the ambition is another massive reduction in cost. And that impressed me a little bit. That they try to extend the lead in that department, not just settle. So great product management there. But as you know, I can love a project for its fundamentals, for its great technology, but I still won't hodl in a downtrend because great projects can back up 97%. Why would you hodl through a 97% correction, which Solana did here from the top in 2021 through the 2022 dump? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Then it's better to get off the train and get on it again when the trend conclusively turns up again, which we successfully identified, and I shared it with you all here. It's the final countdown if you want to get on the Larsson Line course train or upgrade to Larsson Line Pro, at least until sometime in the autumn. Thank you, tack. City of Larsson out.
Now I'm on the morning train down to Savannah or somewhere else where no one knows my name.